letting us fail, to Craig, Joseph, Cuddles, Mickey, David, Flashgoth, and our Twitch subscribers, Draven, Jammy Joy, Galvanid, and Gang Theory, for helping us do this.
Yay! Alright. Welcome to episode 118 of the Epic Fail Podcast. And before we get started, I just had a random moment of inspiration, so don't ask me why I'm doing this. But I'm going to have to turn my camera off of this because I don't want you guys to see it. You know what? I can't. Now that I've done it, I can't even. I just can't even. Anyway, I was gonna do something interesting, and then no, I'm self-conscious. So I can't.
Do it.
It involved a song, and I can't sing. So
yeah,
I thought better.
You guys made me rap, and I am the most monotonous white person ever.
I beat booped. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, beat booping is better.
On top of. Anyway, as we mentioned before, Theory, due to Hurricane, I don't even know, what is it, Irma?
Yeah.
Irma. Dang it, Irma. Irmagerd. Due to the hurricane and thus the total screen we've got going on, Theory is out for the night. Be safe, along with all the other people from Florida. We know Cuddles, and then from some more other podcasts, Garrett, who does a Hearthstone podcast for some of you guys.
Yay!
Hearthstone, yeah. Hopefully everyone down there is safe. Hi! We're on screen. Yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. I don't have access to a lot of the stuff Theory normally does, so we're just going to go. So, co-conductors, tonight, as normal, over here, we got Scarlet. Well, I'm going to ask you how you're doing here momentarily. But down here, we've got some weird hunter dude, and DK sometimes, and other various tunes. Galv
Hello.
From our raid team, and then also from Vex, who we have an inside joke in our raid team that we just have to beat them from now on. But we'll get into that later. Hey, Scarlet, what have you been up to this week?
So, I got 3.5 mounts this week.
Did you have a saw?
Yeah.
I got a half a mount. How did that? Was it cut vertically or horizontally? Or diagonally?
Okay, so...
Did you just get like every other leg or what?
Almost. So I got the Mage class mount.
The fidget spinner.
Mage class mount. Sorry for swearing, but holy...
It actually stopped.
If you don't
I
play
didn't hear it.
It what?
Like, I don't know if it was my internet or your internet. I didn't hear a thing.
It's like you bleeped it. It was pretty cool.
Oh,
your
that's
internet
cool.
Did it for
me. The Mage class mount challenge is painful if you don't play a mage very well, and I don't. So I may have died like 27 million times. So I got the mage mount. I finished something from Draenor that took way too long considering we're a year into Legion. I went and got the Saberstalker 5000 claw mount, and I got the Lucid Nightmare mount. There was a lot of maps in there.
Yeah, that was fun.
And frustrating. And Draven was like, make sure you map. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't need that. And I ran through the first, I actually almost one-shot it without mapping, except I then spent 5 hours running looking for the last orb, and then I was like, this is horrible. So I tried mapping, like Draven said, and I didn't know how, like I didn't have graph paper, so I used paint, and then I got a picture of a grid because I couldn't find an actual grid template that I liked. So I got a picture of a grid, and then I was drawing on that, and then I thought all the maps connected, so I was like cutting and pasting all the pieces, and then that was really not smart. And that was more time wasted. That was like 6 hours. So on Labor Day, I was like, I'm getting this before reset because I don't want to have to do all the puzzles. So I took a walk in my neighborhood, and there was a little store that was still open because they never closed for anything. And I bought graph paper and markers and crayons and colored pencils. I bought everything, and I had like 6 pages of maps. But you know what? They were amazing because I could follow it, and it was awesome, and I got the Nightmare Mount, and holy, that was crazy. And I almost missed raid for it because by like 20 minutes to raid, I had one orb that I couldn't find, but I finally found it, so I didn't miss raid for it. So I got that. That was the 3rd mount, and then the half a mount was it's the Hunter class mount. I'm on the mission before you get it, so I'm on the 8-hour wait for your garrison order hall mission to complete. So like tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'll have the Hunter class mount. Oh, okay. But
at least now I know what to think when you say half. It means not at all.
I thought you got too hungry or something. And
no, but I have a Hunter question for our Hunter guest.
Okay.
Why did Hattie change colors?
There's an item you can change Hattie's appearance.
No, I have that quest. I don't have all those items. But he went from a really light gray and hardly any sparkles to a dark gray with lots of thunder sparkles.
Hattie should be blue with tons of sparkles. Like
yeah, but he was a light. Okay, well, I'm calling it gray, but he was a light blue, and now he's a dark blue. I think it was Concordance that did it, but I'm not sure.
I honestly haven't noticed the difference. I think I've got Hattie tuned to be a quill rat. What do you call those things?
Yeah.
Quill rat.
I don't know. He changed colors, so
cool.
I thought that was weird.
My Hattie looks like the Iron Juggernaut.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yes.
I realized Hunter is the same as Druid. Everything is cheating. It's so easy to solo stuff.
Using Beastmaster?
Yes. I didn't try Marksman and Survival. I don't know how to melee stuff. But, so I've obviously...
A tank.
Yeah.
You know. But, so I don't remember what I was just going to say. However, I've been doing a lot of mount stuff, as we can see. So I also didn't play anything else. I didn't really do Hearthstone. I didn't really do Overwatch. It's just been alts and nightmare puzzles. How was your guys' week?
Yeah, Gal. Let's go to you first.
Oh boy.
How's your week been? How, like in raid, are you taking any extra damage for random sources?
God, I thought I did. For 2 weeks now. I mean, what he's referring to is for 2 weeks now. I swear to God, on Maiden. Is it Maiden? Yeah. I was taking extra damage from the hammer slams on my Hunter, and I had to go through and check it out. And it's just happening at points in the fight where we don't have enough people. So I'm taking like within 200,000 of my max health, which means that even if I'm nicked, I die every time I'm trying to do the mechanics. So I looked it up. It's an illusion. It's not reality. It's just that we don't have enough people to soak it, and then I get my butt kicked. With the week, okay, I had a couple cool things happen. Last week on Labor Day weekend, I was fortunate enough to meet up with a bunch of some local streamers in Minnesota, most of which are current or former CTR members. If you guys know Nevar and Steph, they organized it, and we went to the state fair, which was pretty awesome. We had cool things: duck bacon duck bacon wontons. They were delicious. Dill pickle ale, cheese curds.
That sounds awesome.
It was awesome, and it had a little skewer with a tiny dill pickle, and then like a little block of dill cheese. Like it looked like pepper jack, but it was dill.
Awesome.
It was awesome, and it was green ale, which was really good. Cheese curds, which at the state fair are always my favorites, and then Sweet Martha's cookies. Sweet Martha's sells $4 million worth of cookies in 12 days there.
Damn.
Yeah. And then I kicked butt on the Midway, which is the game area. A couple of us went over there, and I scored some huge prizes. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I got that in the milk can toss, if you can see that.
That's awesome.
Spyro.
And he's wearing a hard hat.
Yeah, well, a guy from a radio station gave me the hard hat later because he saw me with the dragon that looked like Spyro, so now I've got the hard hat dragon. So that was pretty cool. I got to see some live radio shows that I like in the Twin Cities, which is awesome. And then the school year started for my kids. And on Tuesday, the first day of school, my son broke his arm at recess. And the rest of the week has been basically picking up the pieces from that. But it should be fun. And Raid's been great. Everyone's on Avatar. Blah. So there's my week in a nutshell.
Yeah. I'm on their raid team, so obviously Avatar.
Yeah.
I've gotten 6 mounts this week.
Well, sure. Beat my 3.5.
Well, it was literally, I was close to concordance on like all my characters, so I maxed out everything on my hunter. I've got all the class mounts there. I need 1 on my warlock and 1 on my mage, and then I have all of them. Because the other characters, they share mounts based on spec, so I don't need to get concordance on them. But the warlock one, I need a rare spawn over in, Broken Shore.
So you don't get any of your warlock class mount until you get that rare spawn, or is it just a tint?
You go through, you do the quest, you get one. There is 1 for concordance, but it doesn't matter which spec it's for. You just have to get a concordance. I have been playing Affliction because I like just dotting things and just keep going, and everything dies eventually. And then,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talented into the 1 spell never drops off no matter how long it's there. It'll just stay on, so I will constantly have dot damage and it'll just follow me everywhere. It's great. And then there's the rare drop over on the Broken Shore, which is it's a rare mob, but that mob is almost never there. At least whenever I've checked, I've never seen the mob actually, so I don't know. So I just got to go over there and take my warlock and kick the crap out of it. The great thing about that one though, if you ever did the old school warlock mount, like way back when, this is before your time, Scarlet.
I was gonna say.
There was a chain, and this is the same demon you had to beat back then. He's over on the Broken Shore.
Who's got the garbage truck?
Oh, that's, my window.
Yeah.
And Draven's muted.
Am I?
You were.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I've got 2 mounts left, and I have the entire set, along with the entire set of artifact weapons. I will not ever try to do the mage tower for every single spec.
Okay.
Screw.
I haven't gotten on my first one yet. Jeez.
Yeah, I haven't even tried since that first night it came up. I was like, no, I don't care enough. I'll get it eventually. Plus, I don't really care for the Ret Paladin look. It's a broken Ashbringer, which, okay, fine, it's broken, but I have corrupted Ashbringer. Why would I want anything else?
Variety, man.
Yeah. They're all awesome.
I'll eventually get it just to have it. Like, maybe I'll transmog it onto another character, or something, but I do want to do the the Havoc Demon Hunter at some point.
What's that one?
It's on fire.
It looks like Illidan.
Cool.
It just no, I've got that one. I've got the Illidan one. That just
No, the challenge mode, doesn't it look like Illidan's, but just really sparkly and flamey?
it looks like it's on fire. I mean, they all look like Illidans. They're Warglaives. I have the Illidan ones, but
That's true.
there's that. Other than that, I kind of joined a team league type situation in Heroes. We haven't done any actual team league games yet because we literally just got together. So we did some quick matches, some drafting, and stuff like that. But we only
How's it looking so far?
well, we only had 4 of the 5 people there because of family issues for the one guy. And the way we went about it didn't work out because we had someone who we got into the draft and he picked Vala. So I was like, "Oh, I've got a great idea. I'll pick Tassadar and we'll just double support and the Vala will be unkillable." No, he was a garbage Vala. So
he's got to improve still.
well, this was the random dude. So this is not someone we're going to be playing with ever again, hopefully. But
So you say.
So we lost.
Until you get it again
yeah,
and again.
until we get him again. Yeah, like my placements way back when. Did a little bit of Overwatch, not a whole lot, but I don't know if this will come across very well because I don't know if it'll be reversed or not. I did get a gift recently.
Jessica Jones!
Oh, nice.
And I was like, yeah. Cause
Is that the DVD or
That's
is
the-
it a book?
That's the entire
It-
season. Yeah, it's the TV.
Gotcha.
show.
That's awesome.
I have seen it before, despite not owning Netflix. Or not
Ooh.
paying for Netflix. I have seen it, so that was cool. But it got someone's money, so cool there.
Kilgrave
David Tennant.
Yes.
Reason
That guy
to-
is fantastic.
hot and evil and
Yeah.
makes you want to rage at your computer.
He's okay of all
or
the ones
TV,
in the.
whatever.
He's the best one of the Marvel Netflix villains so far by a long shot, as far as acting quality goes.
Yep.
And most of the heroes, too.
I wouldn't disagree.
Yeah. I mean,
He's up there.
I mean, he's up there with like the actual film movie quality people. So
I actually think Jessica Jones in itself had the highest quality. Like even her acting and the other blonde girl, I forget her name, is.
Oh, that plays Trish.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was pretty good too.
yeah, I enjoyed it. It was kind of one of those, huh? And then I saw who was in it. I was like, okay, I'll watch that. And then they announced David Tennant was in it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch that. So I watched it, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for this to come out on DVD. And then it never did until like this week or last week. I don't remember. And then someone's like, I heard you wanted this, so here you go. I was like, okay,
That's
thank
awesome.
you.
Defenders has been pretty good too. I think it's a pretty good bounce back from a very weak and I think hastily put together Iron Fist.
And, you know, we could spend the entire show talking about Marvel's properties and which ones are the best and whatnot, but we're here to talk Blizzard stuff.
Well, okay.
What?
I know, it's weird. It's like we do it every week. And we always have some weird tangent somewhere. Then we got it out of the way
I
quick.
can help you with that.
Oh,
I can
I'm
help.
sure you'll help again later. Alright, so anyway, as we mentioned earlier, Theory is gone, so we don't have any visual graphics for the chat room. Who are here live. So I will apologize for that. We just didn't have it. So, that'll make it easy for the people who are listening, because we're not going to have anything to reference on there. So, Blizzard News! And I don't have any bumpers, so blah 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 blah, Blizzard News, blah blah blah.
Nice bumper.
That's what I thought so too. So, I heard Blizzard decided to buy some property
Yeah.
out near LA.
Yes.
And from what I hear, it's one of the old, was it the Tonight Show or the Late Show? One of their old buildings. I don't remember what
I saw I saw some stuff on that, but I didn't see any of the details. But the reports have been extremely interesting.
Yeah. So Blizzard, like the news broke literally the night before it broke, which is weird.
What do you mean?
People found out about it literally the night before, but there was no detailed information. It was like Blizzard bought this property. That was it.
Wow.
And then the next day, Blizzard put out a thing saying, "Hey, guess what? We're going to have an esports arena."
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I'm excited about it. I wish I was able to get out there more, but it sounds like they're trying to create that kind of environment where it's going to be a big event space.
From
pretty
what
big
I've
crowd
heard,
size.
outside of the production stuff, like the actual crowd is only going to be like 400 people or something like that. So it's not huge. But
it's still huge news.
yeah, it's still
Right.
at the bare minimum. It's a start, and they could always expand the place to make it hold more people. But that's where their esports are going to be. Overwatch, Heroes. I don't know about Hearthstone. I think that would
Yes,
be...
October.
Oh, it's going to be there too.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw
Possibly
something on that
Warcraft.
already. And maybe even for those who like it, that Star Crater, Starfish, that one too.
Diabstar, no. What is that? Alessandra, what is that? I can't remember.
Destin Star.
Yeah. Oh,
StarCraft, you guys are silly.
yeah, they'll have some StarCraft. That's the game that I thought they would actually... Well, that and Overwatch, honestly. I figured they'd try to get a bigger space instead of just like 450, which is still, bigger than we're going to have out here in Ohio. But...
Yeah, October 13th at the Summer Championship for Hearthstone Tour. Yes.
Yay!
And
So-
for the record, we do have Hearthstone news. I'm going to keep myself muted for most of it because I will have no relevant opinion.
You just talked about it.
I'm just mentioning Hearthstone. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying don't mute yourself.
Whoa, Scarlett, are you sure about this?
Yeah.
Okay, he can mute himself.
But before we get there, we did get something cool for Overwatch. Well, cool for some, not as cool for others. It's gotten some mixed reviews. But there was a new comic that came out. And it was Roadhog. And I don't think he actually spoke more than 3 words the entire thing.
He didn't speak, he thought. He's
Well,
a thinker.
yeah.
He's a
He
deep
thought.
thinker.
I don't know about
He is.
but
He's
thought he was
like with
thinking.
3 lines at the end in the bar scene. Something like that.
And
But
he doesn't like it when people call him Piggy.
I can't imagine. But I totally called it this past Tuesday over on Heroes Never Die, the Overwatch podcast I do with Totem. I was like, it's going to be one of 2 things. It's either going to be he got in trouble and got assigned to Junkrat to keep him out of trouble, or it's going to be the first meeting of. And it was totally the first meeting of. And I was like, called it! And I haven't let Totem live it down yet, because that's 2 Overwatch things that I've been correct on.
That's pretty awesome.
It's probably 2 of my favorite characters from Overwatch, but I wasn't super impressed with the actual comic. Like, I felt like they really didn't give you a lot of info on Roadhog. All they did was give you a bunch of panels leading up to a meetup scene with Junkrat, and that was about it. Although there wasn't Torbjorn in there somewhere? Or was that just a guy that looked a lot like Torbjorn?
That was just a guy who looked a lot like Torbjorn.
Now, did you watch the just normal comic or the motion comic?
I paged through the flat page comic featuring Roadhog. Was there another live one aside from Junkertown?
But no, there was. They've been putting 2 versions of the same comic out. One has like sound effects and stuff like that, and the other is just a literal comic, and that's it.
Yeah, I didn't hear the sound effects at all. Should I? Is that better?
That's how I've been watching them. They've been more entertaining that way, but I would still say that I liked the other Junkrat comic that didn't have this available. I'm calling it the Junkrat because Junkrat's in it. The other Roadhog Junkrat comic before, I still like that one better than this one.
The heist one, right?
Yeah.
where they were. Yeah, the early one that was good. I like that one better too. I mean, Roadhog's a really cool character, but I don't feel like you learned anything about him.
I think that's deliberate. I think he's like an elusive, very hidden dude. He's very, like on an action movie, those guys who never talk about their background or anything, and they're just sullen, and that's Roadhog. So, but this specifically didn't say it was an origin story of Roadhog. It said how they met. So the story was how they met.
That was all it needed to be, too. I mean, it wasn't the best thing ever, but I actually liked it more than I liked the May cinematic. But I hate May, so that finally factored.
Des, did you get out of jail? Are you okay?
Yay, Des is alive.
Des!
For those listening in, Des is one of the other hunters in our raid. She couldn't go because of issues.
Stuff.
Life.
I'm just going to leave it at issues
But-
since you said jail earlier, and we're like, did they mean that?
Yeah.
But does Des know who this is?
I don't know. Does Des know who this is?
I'm sure she'll figure it out.
I'm sure she knows.
Yeah, by now.
She's had me sing to her before on stream, so she should remember.
Fair enough.
So, do you guys have any other comments about the comic that we got, or?
I like that they keep putting out content. That's about it. They've done a good job on that front with Overwatch characters.
Who would you like to see next? Either we'll go with comic, and then we'll go cinematic after that.
More Junkrat and Roadhog.
Okay, besides them, everyone wants more of them.
More.
Okay, somebody else.
There was a really good Genji one recently where he's talking with Zenyatta, but they do a really good job, like trickling that data out. Maybe Torbjorn, because he's off by himself as far as the Scandinavian connection.
I would rather be someone we haven't seen yet, though. Torbjorn did have a comic.
Yeah, he did, but that was like a flashback comic.
Well, they're all so far. Almost all of them have been flashbacks in one way or another. Even the cinematics are origin stories and stuff like that. Nothing is like current. Well, I guess Soldier 76 was kind of current day.
That one was pretty close.
Yeah.
Who haven't they hit yet?
Technically, Narissa. Reaper would be one.
They had a Narissa.
They had Narissa origin comic.
Yeah, they really couldn't do much with her outside of that anyway. Technically, they could do Reaper. He's made some appearances, but he hasn't had his own. And I really mixed feelings on that. I want to see it, but at the same time, I don't.
The one you want to see is okay. I'll tell you the one. How about what happened to Widow's fiance/husband?
Yes.
We know that, but
I mean,
why?
We know that too.
The setup, the whole that part, like,
no, I
that's the story that I think would that has the most intrigue for it. I don't know. I think that one's interesting. Reinhardt's had a backstory.
They've almost all had him at this point, but there are some.
What about Diva?
Diva hasn't really.
What, are you going to show her playing StarCraft?
Yes.
Sure, there you go.
Just sitting there
playing StarCraft.
It's gonna. It'll be even better. You get Artosis and Tasteless to do the voiceover for the tournament part when she's for the cinematic of Diva. That would be perfect. All right, Scarlett, how about you for a cinematic? Who do you want to see next?
No, honestly, it's still more Junkrat and a Roadhog.
Okay, I have gathered that already, and I said
I don't.
somebody
No,
else.
I don't want any other one. Then find Diva.
Cheater. All right. Looks like.
I don't know. What about you, Draven? Answer your own question.
I don't want to.
Right.
Well, see, for me, it's weird because obviously I'd want to know more about the Reaper character, but at the
Okay.
same time, I don't want like the backstory before the mask.
Okay.
McCree
McCree.
would be an
Alan says
interesting one.
McCree.
Yeah, that would. Well, I mean, we had a comic there, but I agree it needs to have more there. There was really not much in that one, but yeah, if it ends up being Reaper, I don't want the prior to the mask unless it's literally like for the cinematic anyway, like the end of Overwatch, and then whatever happens that happens, and how he becomes in the mask and all that, and whether they show under the mask ever or not, that's up to them. But I kind of go back and forth on that too.
Gotcha.
But anyway, here comes the part where I mute for a bit because I will have nothing worth saying. And that
Okay.
is Hearthstone stuff.
Yes!
That's literally what it says in the show notes. I'm not kidding. It says Hearthstone stuff. So the only thing I can say is of the top 7 decks lately, 4 of them have been Druid, and Blizzard doesn't like that. So Scarlet, Galv, I will let you guys go wild on this because that's as much info as I know.
Sorry, I was banning someone. We're talking Hearthstone now?
Yes, he gave you a glorious introduction.
Awesome. Sorry about that. So, Galuf, what do you think about Druid at the moment?
You mean my ladder deck?
Yes.
Getting nerfed to oblivion. Oh, God. All right. So the new meta came out for Lich King, and the first decks, kind of decks I saw that were looking good were Druid decks. They've got a couple. Okay, Druid Ramp is very common. That's where you use cards to build future mana. So Innervate, I mean, I'll try to break it down in a so you have still some time to talk to here. But Innervate gives you 2 mana in a turn. So if you get it in your opening hand, especially if you get the coin, you can put out Wild Growth. You can put out Mire Keeper. I mean, if you really go crazy, you can have +4 mana generation in the +4 first 4 turns. So every time you're sacrificing your turn to play future mana cards, you're giving yourself very fast acceleration or ramp up into larger card play, which is what that deck was based around. So apparently that's not good. And you're like, take the nerf that to it. I liked it because Druid's got some really interesting high-end card combinations. Medivh, where when you play Medivh, you get his staff, and then the next 3 uses of the staff are if you play a spell, you will summon a random minion of that cost, that card cost. So when you ramp up and you play a Medivh on like turn 6, and you've got 9 mana, and you're throwing down like a 6. What's the heal card 6 Moonglade Portal, for example, and then the next turn you throw down Infestation, which is the 10 cost Druid card, which is like the feature card of the new expansion, where you get 5 armor, you get a 5/5 ghoul deployed to the map, and you get 5 cards drawn from your deck, plus you do 5 damage to someone. Then that's a 10 cost card, and with Medivh staff already out, you get a 10 cost minion also. Those kind of combos are what that's built around, and I've been enjoying that a lot, and it's going to die.
A bit.
Yeah.
The nerfs stemmed from Ultimate Infestation, actually. It wasn't just the Innervate 2 mana for 0. Basically, it was because the ramping was too prevalent, especially with Ultimate Infestation right now. And instead of nerfing their new card, they nerfed some other things. But I'm thinking it also is dependent on what the new expansions like after this have. So it could be thinking to the future where, some of their more rampy stuff you may not want out early. So I'm okay with the nerfs, but I know a lot of people are a little upset about a lot of things.
Yeah.
People on the internet upset. That never happens.
That's true.
Druid's fun, only but like we were saying earlier, Draven pointed out, is that of the top 7 meta snapshot decks out there right now for ladders, 4 are Druid, and we're talking like number 1, number 2, number 5, and number 7. That's crazy.
And in the tournament that is happening right now, part of the World Championships, basically the format that it's played is the opponent brings, I think, 5 decks, and they're allowed to play 4, and you get to say which one you don't want to play against, and they do the same for you. Yep. I think it was pretty much auto consensus. Everyone bought Druid and everyone banned Druid. So nobody actually played Druid in the tournament. So that says something about, it's kind of like when Patron Warrior was a thing, where it was just when it started you couldn't fix it kind of thing when you got played against. So it kind of needed nerfing. It did. Yeah.
So do you want to go over the changes that are slated?
Changes? Yeah. So I have the page up. So Innervate basically at the moment is a 0 cost card, and you get 2 mana for that turn only. So now you're just going to get 1, but it's still 0. And then some future changes for other classes. Fiery War Axe, which is a 3/2 weapon, is going to be a 3 cost instead of 2 cost. And then Hex is going from 3 to 4 cost. And then this one I really like is the Murloc War Leader. Used to buff all Murlocs for 2/1, so 2 attack, 1 health. It's now going to be just 2 attack. I like that because that was really hard to remove when you were pretty much any class, especially priest, though I found it specifically hard.
Hallen brought up a really interesting point about nerfing cards that have been around forever, and I have comments on that when you're done.
Well, I think it basically, I see why they're doing it, but they should honestly balance their new expansions a little bit better so that way they don't have to nerf the old stuff. Although some of the old stuff was just really good, because even if you have no matter how many new decks, all of the same old cards are still in there forever. It kind of also has an OP feeling.
Yeah, so they take some of these cards and they've been putting them into the Hall of Fame, like Sylvanas Windrunner and some other stuff. And so from what I understand, what they're trying to do is, instead of taking a Hacksaw to the brand new expansion or this year's seasons, rather than retiring cards mid-season or mid-year, they're just doing these adjustments. And a lot of these cards are likely going to make it to the Hall of Fame, which means they'll be retired out of standard play, and in fact they'll be stuck in the wild instead.
Yep.
But the Murloc War Leader, okay, here's a question for you. Let's say it was a 2/1, right? And you kill that. Well, it never took the 1 health back, right? So that was the pain, because so you had like a 3/1 Murloc for some reason, right? You play the War Leader, all of a sudden it's a 5/2. Well, if you kill the War Leader and do 1 damage to the other thing, or you do 1 damage to the other thing, like as a warrior, and you kill the War Leader, that minion that gained the health from that thing doesn't lose it. It doesn't die, and that was a pain in the butt. Now, if they had made that part of it, it would have been a little less brutal. If that makes sense. You know what I'm talking about, Scarlett. Yeah.
I do. I don't know if Draven does.
I've played the game, I just don't anymore. There's a difference.
Yeah.
I know the Murloc War Leader, the one that busts the other stuff. Yeah, I know that. And yeah, I agree that one was a pain to play against sometimes, but, that's just how things worked. And then, is that all StarCraft stuff? Or, yeah, StarCraft.
StarCraft.
Is that all the
StarCraft.
Hearthstone stuff you guys had?
Well, I just a couple observations. Is right now it's I think this season's going really well. I know they should have one more expansion yet this year, right? Yeah, but
2 more. No, 1 more. Sorry, 1 more.
right. But I feel like they're really probably they're really crushing the meta. Every time you think you have it figured out, they're like, nope, and they shuffle the deck. So
Yep.
and it's probably healthy, even though it's driving me nuts. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah. It's not in the show notes, but Alessandra in chat, as per usual, brought up StarCraft, which is why I mentioned StarCraft just a second ago. There is a tournament in Montreal hosted by DreamHack going on. 64 players start. 16 of them go on to the playoffs. Obviously, only one can win.
That's a big tournament.
StarCraft has a lot of people going in. They go in. There's 3 stages of groups, and then after that, they go tournament, playoffs. Of note, I don't know if anyone, you guys probably have heard the name Kalaris. He's one of the casters / hosts.
Have heard, yep.
Yeah. Most notably, StarCraft stuff, but in terms of other games, Heroes in particular, he is known for being the caster who has the curse. Every time he casts a game, someone ends up going to the enemy core and it gets to within 5%, they die, and then they lose the game because of that.
Dang.
Every time he does it.
Wow.
Like if he's in an all-day thing, at least one of those games, that happens. So he's literally calling himself Kalaris the Curse. It's hysterical. And me and a couple other people just keep tweeting at him. That scene from Good Will Hunting, it's not your fault. So I mean,
So you guys are trolling the guy.
We're
Poor
trolling
guy.
him. It's in good humor. He knows it's in good humor too. So there's that. But
That'd still be a pretty cool nickname, though. The Curse.
yeah, I mean,
Right?
Like anytime the people playing the game know he's casting, everyone gets so defensive because they don't want to be that team that it happens to. It's like, don't go to the core unless you are 100% sure we can win, and even then, think about it. But for StarCraft, this tournament, first place will get $25,000. For one person, that's not too bad.
Not too bad.
And there's a couple big names, some names that I've even heard of. Showtime Neeb, Neeb being the person who won the Korean tournament last year, was the first non-Korean to win a Korean tournament in like a decade.
Wasn't he U.S.?
Yeah, he's U.S.
I think so.
But he was the first
Yeah.
non-Korean to win. And just the fact that it was U.S. made it better because, lol, U.S. Yeah.
Yeah, StarCraft is still going strong. It's not as I don't think it's as well watched as or played as Hearthstone, but whatever.
It depends. StarCraft has its built-in fan base. The people who watch it religiously. I catch games here and there. Between everything else, I just don't have time to watch it. My issue with Hearthstone, though, in terms of watching it, it's based on the draw and not the play. That's where the excitement is, and that just drives me nuts. Not for everybody.
Have you seen the YouTube clips where it says "spot the lethal"?
No, I don't watch YouTube
So-
clips of Hearthstone.
There's a lot more. There's a lot of thinking that happens. So yeah, sometimes it is top decking, but honestly, if you watch and you listen to the casters, even the casters sometimes say something and the player did something else, and the caster's like, "Oh, I didn't see that at first, but that makes better sense,"
Yeah,
etc. So
there is that, but the majority of the oh my god comes from what did he draw? At least that's from what I was watching. That's not always the case.
It can be.
That's not always the case, but more often than not, from what I did see of it, and I'm not downing at making fun of anyone who likes watching Hearthstone. Everyone's allowed to like what they like. I just don't like Hearthstone. I don't like watching professional football. I don't like watching professional baseball, basketball, any of those sports. It's just that's not where my interest lies, so that's why I just don't care. But you like it. That's what matters to you.
True dat.
I do.
And with that, things that I know all three of us like. We have Warcraft stuff, and you guys mentioned something going on and on and on. And that was one of the mounts Scarlet and I both got. Galv, I don't know that you got it.
Oh hell no, not yet. No, maybe later. I mean, like, I got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
They did fix something in the maze, though. They fixed your camera won't turn around. So you know how sometimes when you went through a door, you were facing a weird way?
Yeah, I just assumed that was another level of the maze.
That's what I was assuming at first, and that's why I was trying to match all the stupid... That wasn't always the case. Sometimes it was a glitch.
Okay.
So sometimes you didn't port anywhere, but your camera swapped.
All right. Also, since we're talking about the Lucid Nightmare mount, the Black Unicorn, the add-on that I think we mentioned last week.
Oh, yeah.
We told people not to use because it didn't work properly. Apparently it does now.
Yeah, they did. I saw it did have an update.
Yeah, it actually factors in the floors and all that.
But it didn't at the time. When I solved it, I didn't use the add-on.
Yeah, I didn't use it. Much like Azeroth Roundtable said before our show tonight, I personally prefer doing the map on my own. Because at least that way, since I didn't actually learn binary for that part, or I didn't figure out the pattern or any of that, at least I figured something out on my own, because it's a different map for everybody. As opposed to the add-on that told me what to do. Or
exactly.
kept tabs on it. So
I haven't tried it yet, but I generally favor not letting add-ons play the game for me. I stick to more basic stuff.
Yeah.
It actually helped me, like, muscle memory to draw it out, because then I don't know, I could also piece together. So I had this time when I decided I wanted to get back to the beginning, so I logged out, because according to the Wowhead page, if you log out, you go back to the beginning. But then I realized you don't go back to the beginning, because my beginning, the room had a certain pattern of doors, and when I logged back in, I was in a completely different pattern of door room, but it wasn't the one I logged out in. So I started a second piece of the map, and I ran into, like, the blue orb. Not the blue orb, the blue rune. But I couldn't figure out how to get from that section of the maze back to where I was. And where the blue orb was, it was on an L-shaped wall. Well, after running around and I got lost somewhere on my main floor, I finally got back down to the main floor through a portal. I ended up flipped. So when I actually completed the puzzle, on my map, the blue rune was southeast. When I completed it, the blue rune was northwest. It was really weird. Flipped. But it helped me, because then I could figure out, I could, like, flip my paper map upside down and figure out where to go from there. It was...
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was kind of
My
cool.
understanding is that place is... If you think of a donut, and the entire surface is your map. And when I say donut, I'm talking like the round donut with a hole missing in the middle. That's what your map looks like. And you leave one room and you're in another part of the donut. And it just, like, it wraps around itself and it's a circle. It's just completely weird and weird.
It's like one of those, have you ever seen those medicine balls that, like, you expand it and then you contract it? It's like that. It's like a giant thing that connects, but you have, like, 20 different roads that could get there.
It's interesting. But we got some more 7.2 stuff.
Nice sound. Nice.
Or 7.3 rather. We had some more 7.3
God, I could go for some donuts right about now.
There are square donuts at Tim Hortons. Just saying.
But anyway, got some more 7.3 stuff that came out. Last week, we had the cinematic that involved Illidan. and him going all emo because he is his scars.
But you know what? That led to something really awesome. Have you seen? It was either on Twitter or someone else. People, the jigsaw puzzles
The
of
jigsaw
Zero.
puzzle.
There, you get now.
Yeah, I found it and I put it in almost every Discord I'm in.
Oh, that's awesome!
That was fantastic. I was like,
Courtesy of Illidan.
yes, that was great. But we got a new cinematic, and before we touch new cool cinematic, there's no words in it whatsoever. It just was one of those things. I will give you a hint for people. When you go into the building to fight the mob at the end, and you're in the mount-looking thing, when you come back out, do not use any toy or anything that makes your character bigger than it normally would be. So no Vrykul drinking horn. No... I don't know. I think that would probably be the only one. But I did it on my Death Knight as a dwarf. I came back out, and before I got out to the point, I put on the drinking horn to make myself bigger. And then I used my Arthas costume, which I have 5 charges left of on my Death Knight.
You wasted a charge.
Walked out, and it showed Arthas walking out into the cinematic. I'm like, yes, it's Arthas! So I got my finger over my print screen, but I used the N key for it, but my screenshot button, and I'm getting ready to hit it. And then I start hitting it, and then it literally cuts off, like, from here up of Arthas' head.
So you got his chesticles.
I got his chest and his groinal area, and that was it.
Wow, that sucks, man.
I was livid.
I didn't know that was coming.
Just saying.
I didn't know that was coming.
That's what she said.
I got a screenshot of that. I didn't get the one I wanted because I wasn't expecting it, but I put that out on Twitter. I think I put it on Twitter.
A lot of people were putting them out. I didn't know about it, so I'm just like, oh, okay. I knew the cinematic existed. I didn't know it was right there. So I wasn't even prepared for it, and by the time I realized what was going on, like, it had passed, like, my paladin literally did the Bruce Lee bring it.
Nice.
And I was like, that would have been... So Blizzard, to make up to me, personally, the waste of an Arthas charge, can you put that memory cube that we got from our... I think it was...
I don't know if this will work.
I can.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah. That memory cube, I think it was from archaeology. It might have been from something else. Like it started archaeology or something. There's a memory cube that you can look at past cinematics of the expansion. Add this one to the memory cube. It's a total.
No joke. This would be really awesome. They've done a good.
That way, people like me, and there's a lot of people who missed it, we can go back and we can get those screenshots.
Right. They did another good one, which I liked, but the graphics would glitch out all the time. It's when you had the short cinematic between killing Avatar and popping up to kill Jaden's ship. And I'd come up, and I'd have white, like, graphic chunks where it didn't render correctly, and it looked like a shaman's dress rather than... Oh, did you? Oh, Howland, that's funny.
The first time I got that cinematic, I knew it was coming. But I also knew the angle because I had seen the cinematic before. So I Vrykul horned on my paladin, and then I put on the Gorin costume.
Wow.
That's
And I would have done the same thing for this cinematic, but I'd seen it already. I hadn't seen an Arthas. I haven't seen the little Naga toy thing that when you turn into the Naga-looking thing. I haven't seen those. And now I know why. Because it cuts off the head. The Naga, I would imagine, cuts off the chest.
I wonder, does Coin of Many Faces work for that?
I would imagine
Good
it's
point.
I would imagine any appearance-changing thing would work.
Okay. I still got Van Cleef's costume. So maybe I can do that on my Hunter.
I've got Van Cleef and I've got Deathwing, but I've only got Deathwing on one character.
See, because if you were able to play the cinematic backs, it's probably not, you're probably not going to get the illusion that you did when you did it. You'll probably get your character.
The only way I could imagine they would have it so that the illusion would work is if you were in that illusion when you clicked it.
Did the flashback?
Because that would be cool. Because then I'd be like, what does it look like as a Naga? What does it look like as Deathwing?
That would be cool.
And I would literally go through and be like, yeah, I spent the last hour going through all my appearances just to get screenshots of it. What would it look like as an Arakoa? Like, there's all these
Arakoa.
random toys that I've got that I'm like, I want to do this. Because I could really care less what my priest looks like. So whenever I get there with my priest.
What about the one where you're the Legion, the burning crystal in your head that turns you into the red?
Oh, the Eridar dude.
Yeah, the Eridar. Wouldn't that be ironic, right?
Hey, I'm a member of the Legion. Oh, yeah. I don't like you anyway. Yeah. There's all kinds of these random appearance changes that I would love if we could just, even if it was only for this one. I mean, obviously more of them later, but being able to do that, that's always fun.
Hopefully. Yeah. I'm sure they will. I actually think they will. There's been a lot of requests for it online.
Yeah, I don't think it would be too much work. I'm not a coder though, so I don't know. Howland, how much coding is that going to take? But what do you guys think of 7.3 this week? Because I know we Galv. We haven't heard from you this patch, but
7.3 this week is pretty cool. I mean, I've kept up with it at least on one character, and I'm following up on my second. So I sort of have two mains, DK and Hunter, and the DK is the one I typically roll through content first. It'll cost you a raid tier. God. But so things I liked about 7.3, things I didn't like, and we might touch on this later. The invasion point thing, I did as many as I could find, and I only came up with 14 waystones, so I couldn't do the greater invasion point. I thought that was super annoying. Well, I'll have to get around to rares and some things like that. I liked the areas. I liked the world quests that are available so far. They're varied. They have some interesting components to them, so that's pretty cool. Not super stoked about some of the currency stuff that they have going on. I feel like the currencies that they put out for the new Argus area are kind of they're still trying to figure out what side's up, but they're making some changes.
There is some changes coming, so that way. Well, I think we'll be talking about it in a bit, so never mind.
Just a bit.
There's some stuff coming.
So what do you think about it? This week's stuff, Scarlett?
So, Macri. It is actually, so Howland just said, is he the only one who thinks it's called Macri? Both Macri from Overwatch and Macri from the Zone is named after a Blizzard employee who is named Jesse McCree. So, just saying, it is the thing that we all think it is.
I'm going with the lagging balls pronunciation of Macri, just because then you can say like macaroni.
Yeah, but it's like the last name like McDonald or McDonald. People say it both ways. So McCree,
so
Macri.
You're saying Macri goes both ways, and Jesse McCree goes both ways.
Yes, totally. Nothing wrong with going both ways.
Yeah, I was going to say that's his choice, and if that's the way he wants to live his life,
whatever.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's all good.
So,
I mean, if you're a continent on Argus, why don't you want to go both ways?
Exactly. So there's this thing where you're just like do along on your mount, and then all of a sudden you're dead.
Oh yeah, I ran into that too.
Because there's a hole in the map, and I love it because have you guys noticed the graphics are like a huge giant painting, and it's not the same as like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's gorgeous. And then you're like, oh, can I jump? No, I'm dead and I can't find my body. No, honestly though, it's really cool. And the
clearly have not
pets.
found that place that you can fall off
Well,
the
you
map.
should explore Macquarie more.
I've unlocked it. I've been everywhere that it lets me. I've never
So-
found
No,
a place
you
where I
can go through the whole thing. You can explore it, even though. Also, there's some oh my god pretty graphics. Did you guys see the like void zone? Please tell me you guys saw the void zone.
I think I did, but go on, because you
It's
obviously had
so
something in
pretty.
mind.
No, it's pretty, and there's either a pet or a mount or a toy, something cool that drops from a rare near there, but I haven't seen the rare yet. But it's like this giant black hole of a galaxy in the ground, and it's like purple and black and sparkly. Des, I have some pets for you when you log on. There are lots of pets. There are
Yep.
gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous pets, and there's some pets that hatch from eggs. So I have a couple for you when you get on. So there's some cool pets. There's also, Des, there's a new pet battle achievement. So you got to do the same as you have to battle all the tamers with like all beasts, all flying,
Yep.
all it. So there's one like that for Argus.
Yeah, there's legendary pets scattered, a lot of legendary pets to fight scattered throughout the 3 continents.
And the cool thing is, though, you don't have to wait till they're up. They're always up, and you can always battle them. So
Yep.
that's neat.
And
so you
occasionally they're
could
the
do-
world quests too.
Yes, but you could do them all in one day if you really felt like it. That would be a very long day, though. There's probably 20-something pet battles. It is long, Des, it is. But I have some new little pretty pets. There's a lot of really pretty pets. You should... I have some for you. So, yeah. There's pets are awesome.
I like how they did it. How they have like a different bestiary, I guess. You know, like different environmental zones on each of the 3 continents on Argus, and they've all got their own varieties of pets. So that's pretty cool because you're always looking. Like everywhere I'm going doing the quests, I'm always like, oh, hovering over. Can I tame that? Do I have one of those yet? So
Exactly.
You mentioned
Pleasant
that
distraction.
void zone, Scarlet, and the first thing I thought of was my one demon hunter had that for months until I went into an LFR and eventually died.
No, it's different than that.
Like you
It's
know that
different.
void totem toy?
Yeah.
I had that buff on my demon hunter permanently until I died. I could go anywhere, and
But
everything was void.
it's
It was great.
like 100 times prettier than that.
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying I kind of had that, and it was great. And then I was dumb enough to go into a raid situation where I was like, I might die, and then I died. That was the one time if I was on my pedal, I'm like, Bubble Hearth,
Oops.
break the raid.
lesson learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that. You break a lot of raids, don't you?
Sometimes not intentionally. Most of the time not intentionally. But anyway, we had an oops this week too. On Monday. Artifact
Wait,
knowledge.
that was an oops?
That was an oops. There was a bug.
Oh.
That's what they're saying. And we haven't got confirmation that the bug is fixed or that it won't happen again, so we'll find out. But on Monday, artifact knowledge went up instead of on Tuesday. That
It didn't go up again on Tuesday, though, right?
No.
I wish. Because then I would have concordance on every character that needed it on every spec. Because it's going up by a lot.
I was going to ask you about that because the last time they bumped the AK, the first couple were like significant, and all the others were like the curve just dropped off, and the subsequent AK levels didn't do anything.
Well, we went from 4 million% to 16 million% on the first one, and then this one went
Yeah.
up by another 4 million%, so we're at 20. So
So it sounds like-
it sounds like it's going to be another 4 every time from here, but we'll find out. But it's kind of
Probably.
needed because once you get to a certain level of, artifact power, you need so much to make dents.
Yep.
Like my paladin right now, those 150 plus million tokens, I'm barely making any dents. Whereas, like say on my rogue's third spec, that 100 million is like, oh look, concordance. Not really. You need about 1 billion for concordance.
But it's super easy to get concordance. Like by the time you've done your, say you hit level 100 and you're just going for the class mount like I did. By the time you hit your class mount, 110. By the time you hit your class mount, you are pretty much concordance on one weapon. It's not bad.
So, my recommendation for anyone who hasn't gone through Suramar yet, take your time. Go through it. Because those rewards are going up too. And there's a lot. Especially now that they got rid of the rep requirement. There's a lot of artifact power there.
Yep.
So, I've gone through it on one character.
I like that it's significant though, because it was frustrating to get your new AK and it went up like a fraction of a percent, and it's just like, that's nothing.
I mean,
so it's nice.
The new ones have always gone up relatively noticeably. It's just more of a, by the time you get it, you're to the point where it's like you're not noticing the increase. Whereas now it's gone up so much that it's like one day of dailies and you almost get concordance. And I can speak 100% on this. My rogue's third spec. I just started putting points in it today. I need 4 points. And I'll have concordance on it. So tomorrow, I'm gonna get that amount. If I do the
That's kind of awesome.
If I do the world quests and all that stuff.
That's cool.
So it's easy to time it. Or I could wait till Tuesday and do 3 world quests and be done.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. But Monday wasn't the only bug we had. Tuesday had a bug of its own. The cinematic we referenced a while back, I forget what the quest was called, but there was a rep attached to it. And
was there?
There was, yeah. You get, there was rep attached. And if you did it early on the day, Tuesday, you lost 1,000 rep, which may or may not be a big thing to you. Depends on if you want anything off the vendor. Or if you're like me and you just want everyone exalted. They have since fixed it.
You can't please everyone all the time, Greg.
Yeah. They've since fixed this bug. And if you were affected by it, they did say that they have ways to look it up, make sure, verify it, and then they can award you the 1,000 rep back. So
I don't know if I did it that early or not.
I didn't do it until that night. Like I
Have they corrected it?
I didn't even log into Warcraft until Tuesday night that day because I had so much other crap I was trying to keep up on. And
yeah, as long as they fixed it, I'm fine.
It's fixed, and they have a way to look it up. So if you were affected by that 1,000 rep, contact them. They can look you up. Worst case, you got to wait a day or two. You'll get a token or something in your mail or something. They'll fix it. If you weren't affected by it, and you try that, they're gonna look at you and they're like, "No, you're good." And then they're gonna be like, "Close conversation." But I mentioned earlier about people getting upset on the internet and how it never happens.
What?
Yeah. What's your point?
Well, another example of it never happening is Blizzard has said they're not going to allow flying on Argus. And everyone was peaceful about it. They loved it. They're like, we love that idea. It's great. We don't need flying. And no one went off the handle saying, I just earned flying. What the F, Blizz? There was no record of that ever.
They provided a really good mobility in Argus so far, though. The one thing they're missing, which I hope they come, it's on a thing. I think a vendor is the Flight Master's whistle, where you can recall.
So what they have coming is a flute of some sort, and what it'll do, you have to be exalted to get it though with one of the 2 reps. And I'm already past route. But either way, once you have it, you can use it, and it'll take you to one of those little portal thingies, the teleporters.
Oh, I think I just hit revered with them. I should go to the vendor. You just reminded me.
You got to be exalted to buy it.
Well,
So
never mind.
You got another few days yet. So, yeah.
I got a long way to go with that.
If you're
I
doing the
don't even think I'm in honored.
if you're doing the world quests out there and the portals and stuff, you should be fine. There are and rares especially. There are rep tokens that you could get.
Yep.
I'm currently
getting those.
saving mine for Saturday. Reason being, I'm gonna go back down to the Dark Moon Fair, get the rep buff turned on, and just spam the heck out of that use button.
Why Saturday?
I agree with you, Alan.
I'll have more of them, and I can just do it
Oh.
all at once.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's just more of a, I'll have it all at once and I'll remember to do it. Little post-it note right here. So do that.
To remember. Interesting.
Yeah, no flying.
So-
Go do some rares. You'll catch up.
Can I expound on something that Alan mentioned in chat? Is that okay?
Howland said it, so it should be safe.
Okay. So I totally agree. And I think the downside is, let's say you only gated the flute behind something like Honored or a lower rep class of Exalted. Okay, so you're going to complete your circuit of quests faster, right? All that means is you're going to be able to jump on a different character and enjoy the same content or grind the same content out on a different character. Because the world quests don't populate any faster. And that's the whole point of the flute is getting around faster. So he brings up an excellent point, and I'm a little
Alright,
salty.
So I understand that point of view of once you're exalted, you don't care anymore. You're gonna do the artifact power quests, maybe do some rares if you're looking for a mount, stuff like that. That's what it's there for. Get your okay. These are the mandatory things, and then you can go out and looking for your mounts and your pets and stuff like that. I think that's what it's there for. It's not a, we're going to make this stuff easier. I don't think that's what it's for. But I understand the point of view of I'd like to get it sooner too, do the quest, but it is what it is, and I'm okay with that.
Well,
I'm multiple teams too, so.
how many people, Galv, are going to be farming for the mounts until they get them, even if they're exalted?
I don't know. I haven't gotten any of them yet. I haven't done a whole lot of mount farming. What do you think?
I haven't got any of them either, but I will be farming till I have them all.
I suppose you would be, wouldn't you?
Of course.
Yeah. So you'll have a better use of it than I will. I like getting that stuff, but I spend my extra time on other things, which is fine. That's just what I'm doing. So yeah, there's times like, okay, are either of you engineers on any of your more recently or more thoroughly played tunes?
I was on Scarlet, like my Death Knight, but not this expansion.
I have an engineer,
Okay.
but I haven't done any effort into it.
All right, there is one engineering recipe so far on Argus, and it's the wormhole generator. And the requirement, the quest is, it literally sends you to like 8 or 9. It literally sends you to like 8 or 9 like locations, like 4 on each, 3 or 4 on each of the continents, and they're like way out there. You have to go to the edge of every path, and so you get out there, and then all you just did is you rode your pony out, and then you sample the site or whatever, and you have to ride all the way back to the next drop zone. It's annoying.
Okay, but they just want to make sure that you are... That's kind of like how we got flying. They wanted to make sure you experienced everything before you got it. So that's kind of, I think, where they're coming from with that. Whether the implementation of it is acceptable or not is another story. But I think that's the point of view they're taking, is we want to... if you want this one thing to make this easier or whatever, go through everything first.
So, about that engineering portal, have you used it yet?
I've gotten it. I finished the quest, and I have not clicked on it yet. It's now in my toy inventory.
It can kill you like all the engineering stuff can.
I may log on right now just to try. I want to see.
We're almost done with the show. Wait for the show to be over.
Oh,
Just to be safe. You can do it for post-show. I won't care. But yeah, no flying on Argus ever, which I think once the expansion's done, I think they should allow it for characters that have experienced everything. Like make it a legacy thing. Like once you completed everything there, then you're allowed to fly.
It's physically not possible, though.
Why is it physically not possible?
Because the way they did the world, like if you look right now, what I was mentioning about the backdrops are painted, you
Sure.
couldn't fly. It's not a 3D world. It's like half 2D.
You bring
There's
up an
sky-
interesting point.
The skyboxes are made
All right.
way differently than any other skybox, and it's cool. I agree that I kind of want flying. Like, I'm not taking any character that's not a tank because I don't want to get dazed. But I see why they didn't
Yeah,
put
I mean,
flying there.
It's easier to code and stuff like that. And it's not like we haven't done this before. I mean, originally you had to use extra stuff in Tanan to get it. Timeless Isle, I believe, still doesn't have flying.
Exactly,
You
Des.
can fall gracefully, or not so gracefully, depending on which character you're on. But,
Well, same here. with
Hey,
the
engineers get
place.
rocket boots. Those were helpful.
yeah. But it's not like these new zones have ever been, oh, we could fly here. Tanan being the exception because it was technically the same continent. This is a whole nother planet. So I wish they'd add flying to it eventually, but I wish you still had to unlock it on your account.
Yeah, but
You-
like Thunder Isle, Timeless Isle, none of the islands had it. Even they were talking about like Keldanos and all that. It still doesn't have flying.
Well, I mean, yeah, Ghostlands doesn't have it. You know, Exodar
Exactly.
don't have it.
But Howland did just say removing the days would lessen the complaints. Yes, the days. I agree with that.
just
What if
don't get hit in the back.
what if you enabled the cannon from Dark Moon Fair to be usable?
What if we had one of those items that was like the little meteor rockety thing?
Yeah,
I've got
You
one
could
of
land
those.
in the hole.
I should try to use
Yeah.
that just to see what it does.
pop out the cannon right on Argus and make yourself a projectile, and you have to pop a parachute or something on the other side. Just anything that would it's crazy interesting, like something that would enable gliding but not necessarily flying, because I don't think that would interfere with the skybox problem or some of the other stuff. Because I do take some flying leaps off of tall objects and use the flex weave underlay, default parachute for engineers and things like that. I haven't messed with gliders though, like Goblin Glider.
You can use the stirrups, Des. Just I don't think many people know about those or buy them,
Most people don't bother because it's not that.
but they should. That's probably, if you think about it, that's probably why that thing was made.
Maybe. But anyway, moving on. Scarlet, you mentioned something about waystones and changes coming.
Yes, Galv, you will like this. Those waystones go bye-bye.
Yes.
So they're going to be removed. I don't even see why they were there in the first place. That makes no sense.
I understand it in that to open the greater one, you would have like the waystones like to power it or something like that, instead of like the old using souls to power it, using the waystones to open seems like an easier way. But putting such a huge requirement on them, I'm glad for the change.
hmm
I'm just kind of
Yeah.
on this. It didn't really
All
bother
right.
me 'cause my main character, I had the max level 40 before the quest came because I was killing rares and stuff too, which is why I told you guys go kill some rares because they drop the waystones.
Yeah, they do.
So one of the other points they made is that if you had an excess, there's nothing to spend them on, and that was the other problem.
And once you hit 40, you can't pick any more up, despite the fact that the rare you just killed had 8 of them.
Right.
Yep.
And then they'll try to mail them to you in the mail, but the mail is just going to look at you like, we don't know what this is. here's your note saying, hey, there's a currency here, but there's nothing attached.
Yeah, it's silly. I think that having the fix that they propose is that instead of a currency, when you've done 3 of the regular invasion points, it lets you do the greater. And that makes more sense. You can even, if it's a power requirement, you can say, oh well, you attuned yourself, or you absorbed enough power, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's just. This is the one thing about Blizzard that I really want to sometimes. The number of currencies we get. Can we just knock that down a little bit?
So one of your other shows, Des and I were in chat. How many currencies did we list during the show?
Oh God!
For just Legion, just Legion currencies. I think we were up to like 35 Legion currencies.
Really?
Something. It was. If Des is still listening, I mean, it literally, we were listing currencies from the Legion expansion for a half an hour.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. And I kind of say, if you're going to go like real world logic on it, I understand the need for different currencies, because not everyone is going to use the same currency. And hi, puppy.
Puppy!
Sorry. Dog sitting, so.
Say goodnight to Howland.
Good night, Howland.
Thank you!
Good night, Howitzer.
So, I mean, it makes sense to kind of have multiple currencies using real-world logic. What are you doing?
Yeah, but
Puppy,
this is overkill. I mean, keep it simple. You don't need a currency for everything.
All right, we gotta make this quick because I gotta take care of him. I'm not gonna be able to pick him up.
Puppy gotta go.
No, puppy's having an issue.
Oh.
Well, I'm good, man. What else do you want to cover?
Well, we got the class balance stuff coming up. Basically,
Buffs. Everybody's getting a buff.
Most everybody's getting a buff. The Crucible, that kind of thing.
Is he okay? Do you need to, like, pause?
We need to end. So go ahead, throw out your shout outs, all that, Scarlet, and then we'll go.
Shout out to Gal for joining us in Replacement Theory. And shout out to all our listeners. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the fish. Okay, that's my shout outs. And Des.
Yep. Gal, how
Shout
about
out to JLC.
Man, I have been super impressed. People in Texas, people across the U.S., my friends here in Minnesota, my family members who really, when the stuff hits the fan, man, there's a lot of people out there who will put their own lives aside and their own interests aside and their own politics aside and lend a hand, lend some money, and support the people who are just getting housed. Fires in Montana, hurricanes on the South Coast, all that kind of stuff. So keep up the good work, people. That's what we're all about.
Yeah, right there with you. Hopefully everyone down in Florida, everything's as okay as it can be. All that fun stuff. I don't have any shout outs just because I'm so distracted at the moment. But yeah. Where do people get a hold of you guys? Gal, you're the guest. How do people get a hold of you if they want to?
So my Twitter handle is Galvanite Online. You can find me out there. I'm a friend of the show here. You can catch me on Discord, Thunderlord server. I'm with Vex, same name you see around here, and on Airy Peak, same name. I'm Hunter there, and I got a couple other tunes.
Okay, Scarlet.
On Twitter, Scarlet_CTR, and in game on my Demon Hunter or my mini alts at the moment.
Alright, easiest way to get hold of me, Draven Dresden over on Twitter. And I could go into more details and other places, but I'm just gonna end it with that. So I will say thank you guys for coming, and that's gonna be a show. No post show, sadly, just because I have to take care of this. So thanks for coming, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Come on.